Everyone. Thank you for joining. We'll give everyone a couple of minutes just to join and make sure that everybody's online. Great. So hopefully everybody's online now. Thank you for joining today's webinar. This webinar, we are going to be covering using missing order alerts and problem tracking to improve customer retention. So for those of you who don't know me, I'm Kirsty Morris and I'm a Premier Customer Success Manager here at Prospect as part of the Access Group. So I look after the top end of our customer base who have a Premier Customer Success Plan with us. On today's agenda, we're going to be looking at the missing order growth engine, proactively identifying at-risk customers and how to do so, linking problems to sales data and why that's important, and using problems for logging issues and passing in between your teams within your business. We'll also do a Q&A session at the end, so please put any questions in your chat box or in the Q&A section of the Zoom, and then we will answer them all at the end. So I'll now take you through a demo. For those of you who haven't seen our demo system, it's regarding a jam company. So if you see anything about jam, then you know why. So first of all, we're going to be looking at the dashboards. So you find your dashboards on the left-hand side in the drop-down menu. You can then look in the little drop-down, you have multiple different dashboards. For today's webinar, we're going to be looking at the account manager dashboard and how to segment all of your customers per accounts that you look after. So this is where you can change the account manager. So for some businesses, you'll be set up so different account managers look after different customers, and then they can filter these reports to look at only the customers that you look after. So by doing that, you can then select here and you'll get a drop down of everybody that's an account manager or listed as an account manager within your business. And then you can select it through there. For this one, we've only got everyone. So all of the customers that are set up in here are set to everyone. So first of all, we're going to look at the Prospect AI growth engine, or what we call Page. And this is a AI tool that will start to learn your customer order patterns and then uses its insights to see if there's a break in the cycle of ordering. So if there's a missing order. So for example, one of your customers orders every 30 days and then they didn't order on one of those 30 days. There is a warning time frame either side of those 30 days. And then if it hits that and they haven't ordered still, it will then pull up into these missing orders section here. So you can see that Anita's Cafe should have ordered on the 12th of September, and usually their value of that order would be around £62. So if you click into see more, it then drills down into that form, but in all of the areas that are missing. So for example, Bamboo Box here, they would have an account manager set, and then the days since last order is 93. However, the growth engine has noticed that they do order usually on average every 6 days. So there's 6 days in between all of your orders. The order warning level that I mentioned earlier is sitting at 17. So they, on average, they order every 6 days, but the warning and the alert will come at 17 days. So it gives a few days either side just to make sure that you're not just contacting everyone the minute they don't place an order. Gives you a little bit of a leeway, and then you can then contact them. It then looks at the RFM segment. So within our dashboard, which we'll go on to in a second, we have the RFM, which is recency, frequency, and monetary value segment. So you have champions all the way down to at risk, lost, or hibernating. So this then moves, depending on the amount of orders they have and when they've placed these orders, it then moves them throughout that RFM segment. And this report also shows you the average amount that customer should be spending. So on average, every 6 days, this customer spends £4,300 on jam products. So it's quite a lot of jam products, and you want to make sure that you're looking after those orders and making sure that you are proactively reaching out to customers when they stop ordering. This should then help prevent customers shopping around, so you're noticing before they've managed to go and buy somewhere else, and then therefore you're retaining those customers. So if we have a look at the RFM segment, we've got the whole analysis here, which then goes through from champion all the way down to don't lose them and hibernating or at risk. So this is where we're using our tools to identify proactively customers that are at risk. So if they stop ordering and the frequency of those orders and the monetary value of those orders starts to go down, they will move throughout these areas within the RFM analysis. So if you click on this question mark here, it goes and breaks down into all of the different insights that we get from this RFM segment. So for example, you've got champions. These people have bought recently, they buy often, and they spend the most with you. So they're the people that you want to get reviews from, or you want them to advocate for your business, or you want them to promote your brand. So those are the people that you really want. You want all of the customers basically to end up in champions. You then have the loyal customers who do spend and are very responsive to promotions. So if you're doing buy one, get one free, then they're more likely to start buying when you're doing those. And then it all goes all the way down to customers that then sit into at risk. So they potentially spent big money in the past and they used to purchase often, but they haven't purchased for a long time. So what you might want to start doing is sending personal emails to reconnect, offering discounts and providing helpful resources. So it's then looking at how you can be proactive at retaining those customers by using these reports that are there for you. And this is all done automatically within your customer base using the connection to your ERP system. So if we go back into this, you can then click into see more again, and this builds the report that builds that RFM analysis. So one thing that we would suggest to do is click on the RFM segment and then filter. So then you can start filtering down into people that maybe have dropped down into at risk. So you would then filter by that, and then you would want to target those customers immediately. That starts to drive conversations that you're having with your customers, and then in turn retaining them as best you can. Perfect. So that's where we are using the RFM and the AI growth engine to start retaining customers within this. The other area that we are looking at is the problem tracking. So as you can see here, you've got all problems that are assigned to, if you've selected your account manager at the top, all of these problems are assigned to that account manager, or that customer, sorry, under that account manager role here. So if you click on see more, this lists all of the types of problems that you can have. You've got things like this, and problems can be for anything within the business. It could be credit issues, it could be damaged goods on delivery, it could be a customer complaint, it could be a customer query, all on the back of how you're dealing with your customers there. So what we would suggest to do is use the problems and the pipelines to go through and make sure that you're utilizing every area of the business, and you're transferring information from, say, the sales team have then had a complaint from a customer. They then raise a problem against that customer and they pass it on to the relevant department within that team. So what I would suggest for retaining customers is you can, if we go into a company here, let's have a look for Browns. So say Browns of Ipswich have ordered something and they've then had a delivery issue with that. That's an example one. So going to the contact, this customer here has placed an order, and their order number is this one, and they've actually had a delivery issue with it. So they've got a new cafe, we've sent out some product, and they've now had a delivery issue. So we can raise this order and we can see how much there is, and potentially they've had blissful apple jam, and there's been a smashed case of this or a delivery issue with that. So what you can do is if you go to Michelle Jury and then you would create a problem. This problem is saying damage on delivery. So we'll use this example as one. And it's a new issue. There's damage on delivery. And then what we would want to do is click related. So this is where you can then link the problem with the original order. So you would need to go to this old order and collect the order number or the order reference number here, and then add a related. So this is order giving rise to a problem is one example that we have. So this order has now got a problem associated to it. There's damage on delivery, and we want to link it to New Cafe. Obviously, if you've already gone into that order, it will pop up in the selection here, so you can do it that way as well. And then you would click create. So that then links the two. And then what you can do is if you, on this problem here, if you need to resend out a product because it's been damaged, you can then raise the quote, a new quote or order under that problem for the new jam. So it means that all of that is linked. So they originally bought one set of jam, it then broke on delivery. You've then created a problem and highlighted it as a delivery issue. And then you've sent out a new order off the back of that, and that links within the system. So all of this linking makes it really easy to start drilling down on the issues that you've got throughout your customer base. So for example, if every time Michelle orders jam, it gets delivered and something's broken, or 50% of their orders are broken, then it may be something that you would like to look at the courier, for example, and change the courier, or give better packaging, or change the way that you're sending those products out in order to make sure that those customers aren't getting annoyed every time. The other areas that you would want to do in problem tracking is using the type analysis. So this is the categorization and the statuses as well. So we've got delivery issue here, and then the analysis here is the courier was damaged the item. So when you're running a report, say at the end of the quarter, you can then look at all of the problems that have a delivery issue, and then they were caused by courier damage, and then you can drill down into those to see which type of courier or whether it was all in the same area that were having the same issues, and then adjust and change that way. So all of these tweaks can also help retain customers, because if you're solving the issues before they become too big, then you are retaining those customers. The other area around it is the statuses. So you have your status here, which then helps you pass this problem through the business. So for example, if you have got delivery issues, you can then raise the new issue and change the status to, you could add a different status in here to potentially investigating or working on. If you move it into working on, and then you would then apply or send that recall to somebody in the delivery department, for example, or in the warehouse, to then say this needs to be packaged better moving forward. So then they're aware of that, and then they know that that's a task that they've got to do. Or if the customer doesn't want a replacement and they want a refund, or they want a discount off of their order, you can then assign that task to the accounts team, so then that they're able to action that through their task list as well. So the problem side of things is everyone else within the business, and not just sales, that can then look at how they can improve the service and how you're delivering that to ensure that you're retaining customers moving forwards. So that's a really brief overview of problems and problem tracking, but all of the different parts of that will help you retain customers in the future, because you can analyze where things are going wrong and improve on them quite quickly, as well as using the AI growth engine to then generate information on when you're missing orders, so that you're contacting those customers as quickly as possible without causing any delay on that and losing those customers before it's too late. So that's it from me in terms of the oversight. What we'll do now is go to questions, if that's okay.
Thanks, Kirsty. Yeah, guys, if you've got any questions, do put them in there's a Q&A box, and there's also a chat box. Do put them in there. We are encouraging questions, and we're happy to answer those now. So we'll just give everyone a couple of seconds just to pop those through. Yeah, We'll just give it a moment for everyone to flow through.
The other area that I wanted to mention is, I know I briefly touched on the pipelines for problem tracking. What we'll do is we can send some links on how to set those pipelines up as to whether they are beneficial to your business. So if you haven't set your pipelines up yet within problem tracking, it might be a good time to have a look at that as well. So we can send some links to you after the webinar.
Yeah, definitely. They'll be included in the follow-up as well. So that's totally fine. Okay, we'll just give it a few more moments for questions. Do pop those in. Okay, we've got one just come through. Okay, good. We've got a couple coming through, guys. Do keep putting those in because we have got plenty of time to kind of go through them. So if you've got any questions,
What I'll
so
do is
yeah,
I'll just share
firstly,
my screen again, guys, so then I can answer the questions and give you a bit more of a demo at the same time. So I will go with how do you close a complaint? So it all depends on how you are going to sort of use the process. It's up to you, but dependent on where it goes within the business, if it needs to be escalated, for example, you would then escalate it and do some work before you start to close it off. The easiest way to close it off is to change the status from working on to completed. So once this is complete, once this is closed off, it means that that complaint is resolved. So you would just close them into a closed status at the end, and then you can also add the status details, etc., in here. So it's assumed successful, and that one complaint is then raised. What we would suggest is setting up a pipeline per type of issue, for example. So you could have a pipeline for customer complaints, a pipeline for order issues, pipeline for delivery issues, and then you've got, when you're doing the setting up of the reports that you want to do, you would then use and drill down per pipeline. Perfect.
great, thank you.
So we've got, I do not have the option of status of configure on my problems, unable to move this along to another bit of a problem, able to complete any problem. Do my admin settings need changing? Yeah, so if you haven't got the status pipeline set up, you would need to have admin access to create those pipelines. So whoever's got admin within your business or admin rights within your business will be able to set up those pipelines. And we did a webinar a few weeks ago on creating opportunity pipelines, which is very similar to creating problem pipelines. And we do have some help docs on that as well. So we can send them after this on how to configure those and set those up for you. And also you've got who creates pipelines. I only have 3 options, none of which I need. Yeah, so what you would need to do is speak to whoever's admin within your company and get them to add some more statuses and more pipelines in there. How do you link orders from order system to prospect problems so they are easy to find? So if you, the way that we should be using the system is confirming orders from the CRM from the CRM. So you upload them on the CRM as a new order, and then you are then confirming that. So let me just show you within this new cafe. So you're uploading an order here, and then you would click confirm, and then that would push that into your ERP system. The idea is that the sales team should be just using the CRM to process orders if your ERP is connected correctly. If it's not, I would get in contact with our support team and see if we can help that way. We wouldn't necessarily be able to link anything from the ERP system or order numbers in the ERP system unless it is confirmed back into the CRM. So if there is a PO number, once this is confirmed, that comes back into the CRM from your, for example, here we're connected to Unleashed, and that's the SO order number from Unleashed. That would then give you that information, and then you would click on this one, you're related. So it should be able to find it that way.
One thing I thought, Kirsty, might be worth
Yeah.
just showing on the left-hand side in the settings. So
Mhm.
on the actual navigation menu,
Yeah.
in the personal settings, if you guys want, just going back to the missing orders, there is now the email notifications
Yeah.
for actually turning that on, so you can get notified about missing orders. So you can just literally toggle that on,
Yeah. So if we
and you
toggle
can
this
set
on,
that.
it updates you on your customers only. And then it will from the AI growth engine. Sorry, I should have mentioned that at the beginning. From the AI growth engine here, it will then send you an email with that on there. And we've also done a webinar on these notifications and how to set them up. So that should be pretty easy to get set up for you. But you can do anything on there. So if you've got tasks outstanding, all pending on hold orders, so that you can push those through, and you can select which notifications you want straight out of the CRM.
And that missing orders notification is really useful, because then you're kind of just you're getting that notification straight, and you don't necessarily have to go and look for that tile and call them. But the amount of customers we've had that just go to that missing orders tile and they just call a load of customers off it, and they go, yeah, that was kind of spooky. It was kind of so accurate.
Yeah.
I've just got a load of orders secured just by looking at that list. So, if you need your sales team to kind of go and follow up a load of orders, that might be a good place to start.
Yeah. And then my problems can be moved to a configured closed status, but don't appear to be completely closed. So this could potentially be something to do with the setup and how the categorization or the status has been configured. So if I'm looking at this completed one here is actually marked as a closed status. So if I go into the configure section, and then you can see the status outcome, sorry, the closed state here. So if it's closed or where did that one just go? Completed, it's a closed status. So you can change this by going into edit, and then you could be changing it to closed, but this closed state isn't selected correctly. So this closed state, you would need to make sure that your closed statuses are in a closed state, so it does completely close those off for you. RE alerts RFM. Sometimes we do contact customers and they have a genuine reason for not ordering at the moment. However, they remain in the at-risk area as a way of snoozing it for a period. So we aren't constantly looking at the same customers. At the moment, there is no way of snoozing it, because it is done on a order frequency. So it's basically done on their ordering patterns. So if the ERP system or the RFM analysis is picking up that they would usually have ordered every 3 months, and then they started to not order every 3 months, then it would still put them at risk. What will happen over time is, if you start to see that their pattern changes, then their RFM segment will start to change. We are looking at other ways of getting this updated, so it might be worth logging this or checking in our ideas portal to see if there's anything on there, because I'm aware that some customers ordering patterns are slightly different to what our AI growth engine is looking at, but it should be based on their own order patterns. So if you were to go in order to log an idea, if you go into the question mark at the top, and then you can go to make a suggestion, and then have a look on there to see if the RFM alerts and the question that you've just asked is already on there, because it might be something that other customers are looking at as well, and we can then get that into our stakeholders to try and develop the product in one of our later releases. So that's it for questions so far. If anybody has anything else, we can wait on for another minute or so. How can you create a report on problems? Okay. So our system actually has quite a few reports already set up. So you can go to service here and then reports. So this is the service section, is where the problems and reports are created. So these service reports show all open reports, all open problems, sorry, all problems, new problems, and then these are our base level of problem searching that you should be doing and what you're looking at. So you can say all open problems in here and then drill down to what's going on with these. Obviously, you've got all of these that are sat in new issue and haven't been changed in terms of status. This one here is being worked on, so then you can drill down into how quickly they are open for, and then you can also look at when they were created. So if this one was created back in March 2023, why has it not been moved on yet? What is it that is holding that up? So it all depends on what you're looking at to get out of your problems, what you are trying to track, and so in terms of best practices, it's probably I would start with these basic reports that are already created within the system, and then start to build on them and find out what it is that your business wants to see in terms of tracking these problems. Obviously, if you do have any questions, our support team are able to help on these, and we can have a look at providing a little bit more training on those. And we do have lots of help documents on how to use the reports, how to build them, etc. And we do have a webinar coming in, I think in a month's time, that goes into how to build these reports. So it might be worth joining that one to understand how to build those reports, or having a look at our documents guide. So if you were to go to the question mark again, you've got documentation here, and this will you can look at anything to do with problems.
So you can either search for it like Kirsty's done already. There's a whole a folder.
So there's a whole
section.
And let me go back, sorry. So documentation. So there's a whole thing on RFM segments here. You've then also got customer service and problem pipeline. So this is a whole section on that. So this goes through how to configure your problem sources, using problem pipelines, standard service reports that are available, and then you can drill down into that, or you can just search problems and it will bring up all of the help guides that are related to problems as well. So these are all the ones that we would suggest is like looking at problems that have been open for too long. One, how often they're coming up. As if you've got a pipeline that's for delivery, we need to see how many are being created in each different pipeline, because it could be that you've got a major issue with deliveries in a certain area, for example. And then you can filter down by open problem statuses. So there's loads of different ways that you can filter these reports and generate them. It all depends on what you're trying to look at as a business and where you want to be able to improve by tracking these problems.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Kirsty. I think that's all the questions now.
That's fine. Just the person who's been asking the questions, I think it's the same person on the creating reports on problems, etc. It does come up on our screen as anonymous attendee. So I don't know if you just want to put in the chat function what your name is, and we can actually reach out and send you a little bit more information and try and help you that way. Because it does sound like that you want to get started with it and probably don't know quite where to start with it, but we're happy to help. So if you want to just drop your name in the chat feature, or send it into Q&A, then me and Jess can see the Q&As on there. Perfect. Thank you. So I'll reach out to you, and then we can go from there and see how we can improve on your reporting for you.
Great, thanks, Kirsty. That's excellent. We'll leave it there, and as Kirsty said, we'll be sending out a follow-up email with all of those help links. So yeah, until next time, we'll see you on the next one. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.